This is your Pac-Man GP. Ladies and gentlemen, after about 1.5 months, I am back with a new video. And I really apologize for not being pretty active on my channel. There was some urgent things that I had to attend to, and because of which I could not upload videos. But in the interim, I have been continuing with my research, and I would be presenting some very interesting inventions, patented inventions in India in the coming days. So first of all, I want to apologize to all the viewers for my absence. Having said that, I want to inform you that I come with a very, very, very interesting invention. Just to let you know, uh, as a human being, or as a person who is walking on the ground, we have always imagined what it would be like walking on the surface of water. Now, today's invention is somewhere close to that. It's really exciting, very interesting invention. So without wasting any further time, I am going to present my invention. Please bear with me. Okay, so the title of today's invention is aquatic shoes provided with a float for walking in water. So it is a footwear by which the person who is wearing that footwear, the person who is wearing those shoes, is capable of walking inside the water without touching the ground or the bed of the water body in which they are in which that person is walking. Okay, so the water body could be a lake, it could be a pond, and of course, if we have to walk in the water, we have to walk on the bed of that the pond or the lake. But here we have shoes which, if worn by a person, the person is able to walk inside the water without touching the ground below, or without touching the bed of the water body. So these shoes are designed in a particular way, because of which they enable the person to walk in the water, if not on the surface of the water. So aquatic shoes provided with a float for walking in water. Okay, we move on to the next slide. Okay, so this patent has been granted in the name of two individuals from France. Okay, the patent number is 495014, and the patent has been granted in the names of MAXIME Lahidjani and Darius Lahidjani. I mean, they seem like names from Iran. They may be individuals who have their ancestry in Iran and now residing in France. And these two individuals, these two inventors have invented this particular product. They have filed for a patent application through the Patent Cooperation Treaty route, which means that there is a treaty that is signed by most of the countries, to which India is also a signatory. And under this treaty, if at all somebody in the foreign country wants to file a patent application before the Indian Patent Office, they can file one international application before the World Intellectual Property Organization, which is based in Geneva. And from there, that international application is processed up to a certain point, and from there that application has to be filed before the Indian Patent Office. So a lot of steps which the Indian Patent Office would sort of conduct while scrutinizing or examining the patent application are generally covered or conducted by the World Intellectual Property Organization. That kind of gives a kind of a holistic sort of a opinion to the inventors whether they should really go ahead with filing in different countries like India or not. So that is one of the objectives behind just one of the objectives behind filing through the Patent Cooperation Treaty route, which these two inventors seem to have done. And for this, the Indian Patent Office has granted a patent for which the patent number is here on your screen. You can look up the Indian Patent Office database. It is in public domain. You can take make the use of the patent number and do a public search, and you'll get the entire case history of this particular application for which a patent has been granted by the Indian Patent Office. So before I move on, I would just like to dwell into the drawbacks of what the inventor has identified in the prior art. Incidentally, the inventors have given a list of similar products, but none of those products are capable of enabling the user to walk in the water. So that is one of the need which the inventor has identified in the prior art. The second need is a little bit on the medical side. The inventors have proclaimed, or they have suggested in their patent specification, that walking in the water has its own set of therapeutic benefits, especially for those people who are suffering with diseases that are related to the veins, like arthritis, so on and so forth. So if a person wears the product which the inventors have invented, and they end up walking in the water, that can be treated as a treatment to such kind of a patient, that can act as a therapy. So that is another suggestion which the inventors have given. So having sort of declared what is the need in this particular technical field, or in this particular art, as we call it in the patenting language, I come to the product now. I'll describe the construction, and you'll come to know how a person who is wearing these shoes is enabled to walk in the water. I come to the next slide. So here is a front view of an aquatic shoe, which a user has to wear, and the user will be enabled to walk in the water. So what is the basic construction? So at number one, we have the shoe body. I'm sure it looks like a shoe. You would be aware of that. And you might imagine that the person would have to insert their foot inside this particular shoe. On the sides, you have a pair of wings. So you can see one wing over here, and the other wing is on the other side of the shoe. Since this is the front view, the other side is hidden, you can say. There is a float at number 4. This float is below the sole of the shoe, and there is a curved rim of the wings, number 3. So the construction will be a little bit clear in the next drawing. Moving on. Okay, so this is a perspective view of the aquatic shoe. So here you have the shoe body at number 1. Okay, the wearer, or the person who is wearing the shoes, will have to insert their foot through this particular opening of the shoe. On the either side of the shoe, we have the the pair of wings, and of course there is a curved rim, which has a boat-like shape. It has a streamlined kind of a shape that is kind of tapering, you can say, towards the front. So that is at number 13. This is a top view of that particular shoe. You can see the sole at number 2, and then you can see the wings at number 3 on both the sides. So here we can say that the two wings, number 3 on both the sides, are an extension of the sole. Okay, and then you have the curved rim. As you can see, it has a boat-like structure. Okay, so that a sense of buoyancy can be achieved or acquired while a person who is walking in the water. He doesn't go entirely down and hit the ground, but the person can actually end up floating in the water while they are walking in the water. So which is why this shape is very important. Okay, so this is another view. This is the underside view of that particular shoe. So you cannot see the you cannot see the shoe body here, because this is the underside, you can say. And on the either sides you have the wings. Okay, and at number 4 we have the float that we saw in the first figure. So this float over here, okay, it is prominently visible in this particular drawing. At number 4 we have the float, and it has a midrib over here, and on the either sides there are triangular faces at 14 and 24. So this is the first triangular face, and this is the second triangular face. So the intention behind giving this particular float is to ensure that the wearer, or the user who is wearing the shoes and walking in the water, gets a sense of stability. And it actually acts like the underside of a boat. If you see a boat, on its underside, it has a similar kind of a structure, so that buoyancy is achieved, and floating of that particular object is easily possible. And because of the streamlined shape, the object does not get overly submerged, and therefore when a person is wearing such kind of a shoe, that person is capable of walking in the water rather than going entirely down and hitting the ground. Okay, I mean, that is one of the objectives, to disallow the wearer from sort of hitting the ground, so that they don't have to walk on the ground or the bed of the water body in which they are walking, but they can walk inside the water of that water body. This is another variant of the same shoe. The design is a little bit different. It's a different embodiment of the same invention. At one, we have the shoe body, and it's a front view. So we can see the wing on one side. The wing on the other side is hidden on the other side of this particular shoe body, since this is the front view. And we have a float over here at number 4. So this is another variant of the same invention. Here at 1, we have the shoe body. And then at 3, we have the wings over here. At 4, we have the float on the underside of the entire structure or the entire construction. This is the float at number 4. And from the float to the underside of the fin, to the underside side of the wings 3, there are fins that are coming out. There are 2 fins over here at 3 double dash. This is the first fin, second fin, the third fin, and the fourth fin. So these are the fins that are coming out of the or they are adapted on the outer surface of this particular float, and also on the underside of the fin. So on the underside of the wings rather. So the fins are adapted on the underside of the wings as well as on the outer surface of the float. So there are 4 fins, as you can see in this drawing. And again, the intention behind having the fins along with the float is to give an additional sense of stability while a person is walking in the water while wearing these shoes. So this is the basic construction of today's invention. With the help of the shoes, a person can wear these shoes and walk in the body of the water rather than touching the ground. It is good for good for providing a sense of therapy to the legs of a wearer. It can be used by non-swimmers also at the same time. So these are some of the technical advantages which the inventors have declared in their patent specification. So this is this is another sort of a view. You can say it's a perspective view of another variant of the same shoe. At 4 dash, we have the float. Now the float is actually on the underside of the shoe, but it is also protruding. Okay. At that place where the wearer or the person would be inserting their foot. Okay, so there is a space that is occupied inside the shoe body that is occupied by the float also, which is denoted by 4 dash. Okay, we already know why the float is important for this particular product. Okay, and at 1 we have, of course, we have the shoe body, and at 3 we have the wings. We have the 2 set of wings over here. So this is today's invention, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you liked it. A very interesting invention, walking in the water. I'm sure it would be really fun. I hope you have liked today's invention, and I hope that the inventors from France, they would be enabled to manufacture their product in India, and they would be able to sell in India. They would have a customer base by which they can earn their profits. So my good wishes to them. And I hope you like today's invention. This is your Pac-Man GP.